Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the Transformer Cybertron Primus, and here he is. We're looking at him to commemorate Earth Day because he's the planet, that the Transformers live on, and Primus is the god of the Transformers, their creator. So we're going to be looking at him today for Earth Day. But yeah, I really like this guy. I love his details. I love that he has these little stand feet. They don't flip in. Obviously, since they're screwed in, they can like wiggle a little bit, but I really like that. Obviously, it breaks up the silhouette of Cybertron, but I really do like that it's better than Unicron's, just flatness. He's an actual ball, and I really like that. He is a tiny bit shorter, like an inch shorter than Unicron, I think. I haven't actually measured them, but he is a tiny bit shorter than Armada Unicron. But yeah, I really like him. Just same thing like with the actual sphere parts of Unicron is that he has just amazing detailing, these big sort of just big detailed pieces, and greebling these spires and these deep trenches and cities and everything. Obviously, if you know, these are his hands right here. These are his guns. And obviously, he doesn't have as many minicom ports because he doesn't have the big ring that can hold like 20 like Unicron, but he has one up there, these 4 up here, and just a couple scattered about. I really like this detailing. Like I don't really know what it is. I just really like it, but really, it's just a really nice, a ball. And I really like that. Obviously, you can see his big shoulder cannons that will come out, that will deploy when we go to transform him. But yeah, mine just these barrels of the guns they just don't stay in very well. But I'm okay with that. There's another minicom port. But just all the detailing on this guy, like that. Like, it's just super cool. I think it'd be very cool to see others, like, as if see like Gigantian and Velocitron made into, or at least reskinned over this mold. I think that would have been cool. Or if they do a Primus here soon, to counter the HasLab Unicron, I think that'd be really cool to like reskin a lot of the colony worlds to just make it, like pick your favorite color sort of thing, just to redeco them. But I do really like this. Love the colors. Just it's nice and subdued, but it's also not like just blah. The detailing, you can see like all these detailings are like, like roads or train, like rail systems or whatever. I just think that's super cool. And I really like the colors. Obviously, there was the Takara one that was a bit better, had a bit more paint on it. I don't think it's a huge departure, but there definitely is a difference between the Hasbro one and the Takara one. And then there was the Last Night one. I don't know. I think it was an exclusive of some sort. It was like teal and orange and like navy blue, but I don't know about that one very much. Just I know it was released for the Last Night, but those are the 3 decos, or I think there might be like another weird one, but those are the 3 main decos of this toy: the Hasbro, the Takara, and then the Last Night one. But yeah, I really like this thing, and just for how basic just a sphere is with just some little legs on it. It's just really cool to have, and obviously he doesn't scale with anything or anyone, but I really don't have a big problem with that. So yeah, I just really like it, and it looks really cool. I do like the symmetry, but just little things like this crater, and just tiny little things that just sets him just the tiniest bit apart to make him a little bit more unsymmetrical or asymmetrical. So yeah, and that's really it, because he's a ball with a bunch of detailing on him. So let's jump straight into his robot mode. So I do not have the Omega lock for this guy, so I can't show it off, and the only one that I found on eBay is like $100, so I just went and made something similar to that. I just cut up a bunch of pieces of plexiglass and glued them together, and this works pretty well, better than spending $100 on just the Omega lock. So I I don't really know the best order of operations to do this, so I just do it. I just transform it, and if I have to kind of fiddle with it and push things past each other, then that's just how it turns out to be. So I'm just going to start with these two big pieces, and we need the Omega Lock, or if you make your own like key sort of thing, you can, but because he's going to get super tall here in a little bit, so I'm just going to raise the camera now. So there is that, and I always remember when I had this when I was younger, it's just doing this, and now it's like a big planet warship thing, but we're going to leave all that the way it is, but we're going to flip up this piece, and then we're going to, this doesn't really tab in, the ratchets just sort of hug everything, like there are some like details, but it doesn't really tab in, at least on my copy, so I like to do that. And unfortunately, you can't do like a super dramatic head reveal just because you have to push the legs past the arms and everything. So I'm just going to straighten them out, and then we're going to form his head and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and raise the camera up a little bit more because we'll need it. And then the Omega Lock will just go back in. And obviously mine isn't perfect, so I'm going to struggle with it, but you push in and then, I think the Omega Lock would click in and then you can just push it. And I couldn't find how to open the battery compartment, so his eyes would light up and I think maybe make some noise, but I'm just going to move the arms out of the way. And then I like to angle the feet, like the legs like this on either way, so I just get a little bit more clearance when I rotate it past everything. And like this thing definitely gets in the way with the waist swivel, but it's okay. And then we'll just split the legs and then flip out the feet. I don't know if these big pieces have to be down like that, but I always leave them down just because it gives them quite a bit more support in my personal opinion. So I'm just going to quick lower it back down because we will need the Omega Lock again for these pieces, and this was one of the most satisfying things ever in my personal opinion with this guy. You put it in and then you rotate it the opposite way to bring around this piece and bring out this shin piece. I accidentally didn't mention it in planet mode, but he has these little arms in here. They're like a soft plastic, and I don't really know what they're used for, but if you want to deploy those in his, now or in his planet mode, you definitely can. They're just right there. And now, same thing over here. Push that in, and just rotate it. And I just absolutely love that. It's just so satisfying to do. And now we're done with the Omega Lock. Bring those out a bit more. Get his feet situated. For his feet basically being just plates, he does have a little bit of an ankle tilt, and the fact that this is he just leans on this edge, you can get that ankle tilt to actually work. So now we'll raise the camera back up, and my copy, the shoulder pads just kind of sag. They don't stay up really well. So that's a little unfortunate, but the fists, you just pull out and extend them. Same thing over here, just pull them out and get them all situated. And then you take these pieces, these guns, and you just swivel them like so. And then you bring them down like that. And there is Primus, and I really like this guy. Love his design. Just lower it down just a tiny little bit. There we go. I love this design. I love his transformation for how basic it is, like him just turning into like a ball. It's really intuitive. With the waist swivel, I just wish there was the tiniest little bit of clearance, maybe like a quarter to a half inch more clearance with these side pieces, just getting past this flap. Just wish there was the tiniest little bit more space for that, but really, it's not too bad. You can take these pieces, these slide in and out. You can do whatever you want with them. So I'll just push them out, just because. But I love the design, love his head sculpt. Just raise the camera up so you can see it. Absolutely love his head sculpt. And a lot more detailing gets revealed in this mode. You can just see that those same trenches and cities and everything are still in him, still on him in this mode. Just, it looks incredible and amazing. Obviously down here, the detailing sort of lightens up because you have these big like gun things, but up here you just have so much detailing. And I just love that. It's like, even if he's in robot mode, you can tell that the Transformers can still live on him when he's in robot mode. But love his face sculpt, and it can rotate. But I love the bits of yellow breaking up the more subdued colors. I absolutely love that. His eyes would glow, I think, if the batteries were installed when I raised up the head, and then opened these up, and would turn red, or if there was like a hidden button or something. But I really like him. He's just a very, very cool toy, and he just has this sort of cool look to him. Obviously, he's a bit more detailed looking and more new, I guess you could say, looking than Armada Unicron. I display him with my Armada Unicron. He looks somewhat different, but also he looks sort of the same. Obviously, he's from the Unicron trilogy, just like Armada Unicron. But he still looks kind of different, but also kind of the same. Like, they still look nice together. They look really nice together. That's how I would really recommend you getting a Primus for your Unicron, or a Unicron for your Primus. But they still have their differences, being from still two different lines, technically. So yeah, obviously he has his Cyber Key gimmick, because everyone does, and I don't have his Cyber Key, so I'm just going to use this Earth Planet key, and it just goes in like that, and this would raise up, and the barrels would extend. But obviously, as I showed you in his planet mode, they just don't like to stay in. And the same thing over here. Do the same thing. And yeah, for, obviously the fact that he already has them, if they were to like flip out or like extend even more, it would be pretty cool. But nevertheless, he still looks cool, just like this big guy with like 4 big guns, or technically 6 big guns. I just really like it. It's just, like a lot of the Cybertron gimmicks, is that it's really fun and it's not intrusive. It doesn't hurt the toy on its own, and it's just really fun. And I just really like that. And he does have articulated fingers, just like Armada Unicron. He has a hinge on the thumb that can just move out, and then he has a hinge at the base, and then he has a hinge at one of the knuckles, and that's the same for all of the fingers. So, and mine is missing one of the knuckle pieces, or end pieces of his finger, because, they're not pinned, obviously. It's just like hooked on or whatever, or just like slid on. But they're not pinned, obviously, or else they'd actually truly break, like the Rollout Command, Cybertron Optimus, or whatever they called him, like Galaxy, whatever they called him. So he does have that. Like I said, he has a head swivel. His arms can move out. They can go forward. He has a elbow swivel. He doesn't have a bicep swivel, but I bet for how big his forearms are and how big his shoulders are, you could probably definitely fake one, like a bicep swivel. And his elbows bend both ways, which is a little annoying for me personally. He does have his waist swivel from his transformation. He can kick forward. He can kick back that far. You can click it out if you want a bit more. You can go out. He has a thigh swivel that is right by the knee. And then he has a knee. And as we said, he has those ankle tilts. So yeah, I really like this guy. He is a really fun toy. He definitely, in my personal opinion, just his better feet and his more ratcheted base. Every bit of articulation that's on him, other than his ankles and his fingers, are ratcheted, and his head, but those three do not count. And I really like that. Some of the joints on a Unicron, at least on mine, are either wore out or they're not ratcheted, like his hips. I mean, his knees aren't ratcheted, or mine are just super broken. So I've always caught him like somewhat leaning over or about to fall over. So I do really like that they did better for him, that he can have a lot of articulation very similarly to Unicron, but the fact that it's all ratcheted and his balance is a bit better. There's a lot of mass on his legs, and there's also a lot of mass on his back. Really keeps him grounded, and he just feels like a bit more refined. They definitely learned from him, from Armada Unicron, to make him better, and I really like that. I always love it when they sort of reinvent it. Obviously, he does not transform like Armada Unicron, but just the way that they learned everything from Unicron to make him good. I just always like that in general, not just in the Transformers, like that in general. So, yeah, I really like him. Obviously, his character I absolutely love. Just his character. This is the Primus I grew up with, not the Primus in the Marvel Comics or the Prime cartoon or whatever. This is my Primus, and I will always just love him. One of the things I do want to talk about is how expensive this guy is. Not particularly the way I have him, like base-ish model, but no Omega Lock, no Cyber Keys, no nothing. Just the way I have him. You can pick one up for like nothing, like 10 to like 20 to like $50. But if you're gonna get one with the Omega Lock, you're gonna be spending like $200 to $300, and then if you want a sealed one, it's about like $400, or one with his box fully complete. And that's the same thing for the Takara one. Obviously, you're gonna pay a bit more for a base one, like with no Omega Lock or accessories, but it's fairly easy to get into this guy. But I remember when I was a kid, the reason why I got discouraged with playing with this guy is because since I don't have the Omega Lock, it's very difficult to transform him. So if you have the skills to make one of these, either do what I did and fully make one, or if you're really good at 3D printing, I highly recommend that. Just buy one of these guys for $20 and a 3D print one, 3D print an Omega Lock, or just a key like I do, or go full in and make a Repro Omega Lock. Do whatever you want, because you really don't, as long as you don't make something that tries to actually physically act as the Omega Lock or a key of some sort to unlock him, you really can't transform him very easily. It's just not very fun. It's pretty difficult in my personal opinion and experience. Obviously, you can do it with a little bit of know-how and just a little bit of determination. You can do it. Like, I remember when I was young, I used like a Lego brick to, act as my Omega Lock or whatever to transform him, but that's why he didn't get played with. So if you have enough skill and know-how and determination to make a lock or a key or whatever to make him transform, definitely I would recommend him heavily. And obviously, if you have the money and you have the want to buy one for $100+ for an Omega Lock and get him complete, definitely go right ahead. But he is a really good toy, but be weary of that. Is that if you don't know how to do any of that stuff, if you don't have the means or the skills to do this, to make a lock or something, a Repro Omega Lock, I really can't recommend him, because there's no real substitute other than having an official Omega Lock part or making your own. That's the only downside that I would say to this guy, is he's basically a Power Master, but you can't substitute the Power Master for just your finger or just pushing in a plate. You really, the fact that 3 parts of this guy are dependent on the same gimmick, and it's very difficult to not substitute it for anything. It's pretty discouraging when you buy one and then you can't really transform it, or at least get his head out. But that's just my personal opinion. That's the one thing I would highly recommend you do before you look into this guy, is think about how you could do this, if you can do it, if you have the means to do so, or if you have the means to just buy one with an Omega Lock. But overall, without that, I would really recommend this guy because he's just an amazing, cool toy. Just his aura, he looks phenomenal. He's such a cool looking toy, and it's just incredible. Without figuring in the whole missing an Omega Lock thing. Because without that, he's an amazing toy, and I would easily recommend him because he's not very big. He's about he's not too tall. He's, like 14 inches? He's about half the size of a Titan, so he definitely doesn't take up a whole lot of shelf space for an amazing toy. I really like this guy, really recommend him, and happy Earth Day. So, till next time, see ya.